In the early hours of April 15th, 1912, the unthinkable happened. The RMS Titanic, hailed as the unsinkable ship, disappeared beneath the icy waters of the North Atlantic, taking over 1,500 souls with her. This is the story of mankind's greatest maritime disaster, a tale of human ambition, technological hubris, and both the worst and best of human nature. The Ship of Dreams. The Titanic was more than just a ship. She was a floating palace, a symbol of the Edwardian era's optimism and technological prowess. Built by Harland and Wolff in Belfast, she was the largest moving object ever created by man at that time. Stretching 882 feet long and weighing 46,000 tons, the Titanic was designed to be the pinnacle of luxury and safety. Her designers incorporated revolutionary safety features, 16 watertight compartments that could be sealed at the throw of a switch. The ship could survive flooding in any 4 of these compartments, leading maritime experts to declare her practically unsinkable. This confidence would prove tragically misplaced. The ship's interior was nothing short of spectacular. First-class passengers enjoyed amenities that rivaled the finest hotels: a grand staircase crowned with a glass dome, a swimming pool, a gymnasium, even a squash court. The dining rooms featured cuisine prepared by master chefs, while the staterooms boasted electric lighting and private bathrooms, luxuries many didn't have at home. The fateful journey. On April 10th, 1912, the Titanic embarked on her maiden voyage from Southampton to New York City. Captain Edward Smith, a veteran mariner on his final voyage before retirement, commanded the ship. Among the 2,224 passengers and crew were some of the world's richest individuals: John Jacob Astor IV, Benjamin Guggenheim, and Isidore and Ida Strauss, owners of Macy's department store. But the Titanic also carried dreams of a different kind. In third class traveled hundreds of immigrants seeking new lives in America: Irish farmers, Swedish families, Lebanese merchants. Their stories were just as important, their hopes just as real. The first few days passed without incident. The ship made good time across the Atlantic, her powerful engines propelling her through calm seas. Captain Smith received multiple ice warnings from other ships, but these were considered routine for the North Atlantic in April. The warnings, however, painted a picture of an unusually large ice field directly in the Titanic's path. The collision. At 11:40 p.m. on April 14th, lookout Frederick Fleet spotted something that chilled his blood: a massive iceberg dead ahead. "Iceberg right ahead!" he shouted into the telephone to the bridge. First Officer William Murdoch immediately ordered, "Hard a starboard and full astern," while pulling the switch to close the watertight doors. The ship began to turn, but it was too late. The iceberg scraped along the starboard side for about 10 seconds, opening the hole below the waterline across the first 6 compartments. What seemed like a glancing blow was actually a death sentence. The ship could survive flooding in 4 compartments, but not 6. Thomas Andrews, the ship's designer who was aboard for the maiden voyage, quickly assessed the damage. His verdict was devastating. The Titanic would sink, and she had perhaps an hour and a half before going under. The unsinkable ship was doomed. Heroes and tragedy. What followed revealed both the nobility and the flaws of human nature. The crew began loading the lifeboats, but there were only enough for about half the people aboard, a legal requirement at the time, but wholly inadequate for the reality they faced. The women and children first protocol was largely followed, though inconsistently. Many lifeboats left only partially filled due to confusion and the belief that the ship wouldn't actually sink. The Titanic's band, led by Wallace Hartley, played music on the deck to keep passengers calm, continuing to play even as the ship took her final plunge. Stories of heroism emerged from the chaos. Benjamin Guggenheim and his valet dressed in evening wear, reportedly saying they were going down like gentlemen. Ida Strauss refused to leave her husband Isidore, choosing to face death together. Father Thomas Biles gave absolution and led prayers as the ship sank. Captain Smith was last seen on the bridge, going down with his ship as maritime tradition demanded. The ship's designer, Thomas Andrews, spent his final hours helping passengers to safety, last seen staring at a painting in the first-class smoking room, life jacket discarded, accepting his fate with the ship he had created. Legacy and remembrance. At 2:20 a.m. on April 15, 1912, the Titanic broke apart and sank in the frigid waters, 12,500 feet below the surface. Of the 2,224 people aboard, only 710 survived, rescued by the RMS Carpathia hours later. The disaster led to major changes in maritime safety: 24-hour radio watch, sufficient lifeboats for all aboard, and the establishment of the International Ice Patrol. But beyond these practical changes, the Titanic became a powerful symbol, a reminder of human fallibility in the face of nature's power, and a testament to both our capacity for hubris and our potential for heroism. Today, more than a century later, the Titanic continues to fascinate us. Her story reminds us that no human creation is truly unsinkable, and that in our darkest hours, we have the choice to reveal either our best or worst selves. The Titanic's legacy lives on, not just as a maritime disaster, but as a profound human story that continues to echo through time.